Alright, today, pick one card and you'll get 22 copies of it and 8 random class cards. The single card challenge so many people have asked about for so long, but to be fair, single card challenge would be very standard, so I think I like the 8 random class card. So initial ideas for this were Mind Blast, and then I did some calculations. With Mind Blast, if you're going first, turn 2 you do 5 damage, turn 3 you do 5 damage, turn 4 you do 10 damage, turn 5 you do 10 damage, so you kill them on turn 5. So now the question is, does anything beat Mind Blast? And I did a little bit of mental theory, and it's like, okay, what about Mech Warper? Does Mech Warper kill them before Mind Blast kills you? So if you're going first, Mech Warper, turn 2 Mech Warper, turn 3, so you have 3 cards in your opening hand, you draw 1 on turn 1, draw 1 on turn 2, you have 5 Mech Warpers in hand, you play 1 Mech Warper. Turn 3, you draw a Mech Warper, you deal 2 damage, you play 5 Mech Warpers. So then you have a total of 12 damage on the board, so 12 plus 12, 24 plus 2 plus... So you actually lose to Mind Blast with Mech Warper. Light of the Naru is deceptive, because if your opponent knows you have a Light of the Naru deck, all you have to do is not play into Light of the Naru by dealing any damage until later. So it seems like perhaps the solution, and here's where I can sneak in a Rogue or Warrior victory while I'm at it, I guess. This Brawl's 1d4 might be Murloc Tidecaller. Actually, the Rogue. Well, the Warrior version, or the Warlock version is better, since you run out of cards very quickly. So I believe this Brawl's 1d4 is gonna be Murloc Tidecaller. You get off fast enough to win against Mind Blast, and it seems like this will be the deck to beat. Not saying you can't beat it, but I think it is the deck to beat. So the opponent is a sacrificial pact. The opponent is a druid, that might mean it's naturalized. I think this deck beats naturalized because of the ability to play all these cards, and then the druid will run out of cards. Pretty good hand. So anything that can kill the opponent on turn 4 beats Mind Blast, since Mind Blast can only kill on turn 5. Did he build a deck of Feral Rage? Or maybe that's his random card. If he built a deck of Feral Rage, he's gonna have a bad time. Grimscale Oracle is faster in this deck, but I believe this is the deck to beat because this deck beats Grimscale Oracle. And also Grimscale Oracle is 1 hit point and is a lot more vulnerable against things. Well, that is probably one of the worst ideas I've ever seen. Oh well.
I must safeguard the land.
Nice deck, Druid. Just kidding. So similar to my video on top 2, there's gonna be a tier of decks. There's gonna be the trash decks, and what qualifies as a trash deck might surprise you. I think Naturalize is a trash deck, and I think Light of the Naru is a trash deck, because there's quickly gonna be a tier system, where top 2 was Mech Warper, Metal Tooth Leaper. This, I think, might be Tidecaller. It started, so maybe not, but I think it is. So that means you come up with a tier list. So you need to beat Tidecaller to be a competitive deck, I think. And then anything that doesn't beat Tidecaller could be still competitive if it beats all the decks that beat Tidecaller, whatever those are. That's like a 3-tier system. Tidecaller decks beat decks that don't beat Tidecaller decks, and then decks that lose to Tidecaller decks, but possibly beat the decks that beat the Tidecaller decks might work. There's a naturalized deck, which I just claimed was trash, but the problem is he'll run out of cards and I'll have a lot of Tidecolors. So that deck might be the deck that beats the Tidecaller deck, maybe. Sure, it's gonna have some serious problems soon. It's actually true, this is the meta for the Hungry Crab. Hungry Crab does beat this deck. But in order for Hungry Crab to be a good deck, the meta has to get into a point of time where everyone is playing the Murloc Tide deck. Is this the time for a Hungry Crab to shine?
I can see. Your soul shall be mine. I am your nightmare.
In the case of Tidecaller versus Tidecaller, which deck wins? I mean, first or second? Is it second because they get to play 2 Tidecolors first? And first of all, is he even a Tidecaller deck? No, he's not. I think any class can play the Tidecaller, it just happens to be that Warlock is the best because you run out of cards and tap is the most impactful of the choices. The interesting thing is a board clear doesn't even beat this. Okay, so here's the Mech Warper deck, which was my initial thought on a good deck, but as it turns out, Mech Warper is too slow against all these things. I think I have lethal next turn, right? 4, 7, 9, 10. Each of the Tidecolors adds 4. That's 18. And that's 22. So it turns out the Mech Warper deck might actually also be a trash deck because it loses to the Murloc deck.
Your soul shall be mine. I am your nightmare.
What do you guys mean the Mech Warper only loses if I draw exactly all Tidecolors? Not at all. You would have to trade all the Mech Warpers into my Tidecolors. I think going first means you win in this, because your first Tidecaller can trade into a second Tidecaller and still live. And that might make all the difference. Maybe I'm wrong though, since he managed to trade into one of my Tidecolors. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I think that's good. Yeah, it's too slow for him to use the 5-2 against my 1-2. Did he randomly get Demon Wrath? That'd be pretty terrible for me. Nope.
This time.
Okay, there's some other good ideas that people have suggested. Swashbuckler is not a good idea, it loses hardly the Tidecaller deck, but Flame Leviathan does win against this deck, I believe. Prince Malkazar is fun, but terrible.
You asked for it.
Your soul shall be mine.
I'm rooting for this guy to be a Flame Leviathan deck. Although I guess you would find out on turn 1.
You want to cast a spell?
Oh, the Babbling Book deck. Unfortunately, it turns out that the 1/1s are no match for the Murlocs.
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell. You wanna cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
Babbling Book doesn't have a 100% lose rate against this deck. He'll be looking for AoE spells. I don't think he was lost yet. I would love to play the deck specifically that beat the Tidecaller decks, but the metagame, given that this Brawl just released, well, as of the recording of this video today, not everyone's gotten the memo, I think, that Tidecaller is the deck to beat. That's where an interesting metagame develops, where
Hello, challenger.
people realize the strongest deck, and then they build counters, and then people build counters to the counter deck. That happens in Constructed, in theory, except people have not been able to really find a counter to
Reporting for duty.
mid-range Shaman, for example. So in a way, Brawl is a healthier meta than Standard, in a way.
Reporting for duty.
Alright, so 4, 7, 9, 10, 14 damage. Pretty sure the right place to go face. Could be a Consecration deck, that would be bad for me. I do have the Demon Wrath. I have the Curse of Rafam to do 1 more damage.
Well played.
Reporting for duty.
And looks like his strategy is the Holy Light deck. That's not gonna work against the minion deck.
Your win.
Works against Mind Blast, but here's the thing, Mind Blast is a trash tier deck, and Holy Light is trying to beat a trash tier deck. Though right now, maybe people think that Mind Blast is the best deck because they haven't figured out that this deck out-damages Mind Blast.
Watch your back.
Your soul shall be mine.
Ooh, so he's a Murloc Tidecaller deck who managed to go first, but the problem is he's a rogue. Maybe the rogue is enough to lose it for him. Maybe. I did figure out that in the mirror, oh, misplay! Oh, what a misplay! Oh my gosh. Oops. I guess one of the benefits of Rogue is he can actually kill my wounded Murloc with a Rogue weapon. That is actually a thing. I could see him winning, maybe. It's tough to beat the tap, though. Currently, his board doesn't have any way to deal with the 1-2. The 6-1 loses the 1-2. Ah, here's where the random cards come into play. I think I'm actually supposed to kill the 1-2 here. If I kill this, he just kills one of my guys. I have to rely on the board control. Here, unfortunately, I can't kill the value Murloc. Turns out going first is really good in this brawl. Alright, I need a good answer here. In the mirror. I don't think there was a way to win.
Well played.
Oh wait, I'm not dead yet. Don't have to play the Murlocs. People are saying I misplayed by not killing the big Murloc, but I would have lost the board control game eventually to Murlocs if he was allowed to trade into my wounded, or my like one attack Murloc. I could have possibly drawn him out. Possibly. Alright, so it looks like the top tier deck is Murloc Tidecaller who goes first.
Your soul shall be mine. I am your nightmare.
If people are getting onto this Tidecaller train though, I might try the Flame Leviathan deck. I think that sounds hilarious. Also, I think the Hungry Crab deck might beat naturalized decks, because one drop tends to beat naturalized. The question is Flame Leviathan or Hungry Crab a better deck? I think it might be Hungry Crab because Hungry Crab can actually defeat some decks, whereas Flame Leviathan only beats Tidecaller. That guy even made a critical mistake the last game and still won.
So many possibilities.
Take the freebie. And then I think I trade down there as well. And then I have two Murlocs. And he's kind of in the same exact situation. Seems a little bit strange to trade down like that, however, I think it's right. Secures the win. But this is like turn 1, except I'm in the even greater advantage because I have a Murloc down, which is at 1 health and is growing larger. And I have a 1/2 Murloc, which can kill his 1/2 Murloc when he plays it. Probably play a Pit Lord too. So the Murloc Tidecaller versus Tidecaller matchup seems to be a board control matchup. Apparently I kept a lower attack Murloc around. Slight misplay on my side, but in the grand scheme of things, I guess it doesn't matter that much. Let's see, 11, 16, 18, 20, possibly lethal. So I want to try to throw the game. Actually probably overcommitted because one of his random cards could be an AoE. Like if he did Hellfire into Murloc Tidecaller, it could actually lose.
You win this time.
Oh, did I miss lethal when I did the third works? Missed lethal, doesn't matter. Well, does matter sometimes. Alright. Let's switch it up a bit. I would feel like such a boss winning with this deck. This deck will probably have a lower run rate because not everyone is playing the Tidecaller deck, but my guy can game.
Tremble before the might of the elves.
Your soul shall be mine.
Who would have imagined that this is a viable tier 2 deck in this meta? If it's Web Spinner, I think I actually win with Hungry Crab. This is some next level play here. The 1-2s might be good enough against the 1-1s. I think I have to do the trading here. I'll deal 5 damage next turn, maybe. And then 6 damage the turn after that if I'm optimistic. 7 damage the turn after that. So I might have lethal in 4 turns. Is it worth trading into the 3-2? Or do I really need to race him? The 1-2 into the 1-1 is correct, I believe. I think I need to get my damage in. This guy couldn't get enough web spinner brawl, I see. You actually need to trade off here. Mana 1-2s might not be good enough. There's always a chance that I have like a really good random card in my deck though. Okay.
Well played.
You got me.
You win this time.
Gul'dan versus Anduin.
If it's Mind Blast, Hungry Crab definitely loses to Mind Blast. If it's Light of the Martyr, I believe it also loses. No, not necessarily. No, I lose to Light of the Martyr. I mean Light of the Nara. I was thinking of World of Warcraft there. Oh, it's a I win!
I greet you.
Wow.
Well.
We did it!
You have been.
I'm here doing the work of every player out there. I'm making sure that people who play these scumbag
Shall be mine.
Murloc Tidecaller decks get their beating. Even if this might not be a 50% plus win rate deck, it's still worth it for the lulz. I think this deck might actually beat the Dust Devil deck. My deck does trade against that. You can't play anything next turn. Should I use the coin? I don't think so. Oh, couldn't eat Morgul. I'm planning to coin out the Void Caller. You can't play anything next turn, so I should just play 2 Hungry Crabs. Actually, I guess on turn 3 he plays 3 Dust Devils, so I want to have 3 things in play. Okay, then I missed 1 damage. Whatever. So his play is expected to be Dust Devil, Dust Devil, Dust Devil. Ah.
See what is to come.
Pretty good random card. Ooh. Just might win this. No, I can play my Void Caller against the 3-2. I'm okay. So the problem with Dust Devil is it's also a trash deck because it loses to Murloc Tidecaller. The problem with playing a brilliant, innovative deck like Hungry Crab on the first day of the Brawl is that people don't realize that Tidecaller is just superior to so many of these decks. Like, Web Spinner is ridiculous, Dust Devil is ridiculous. In order for Hungry Crab to be good, people need to be intelligent enough to realize that
To the void.
those decks are trash. So the meta quickly becomes a circle of Tidecaller, Hungry Crab, and then you try to find the magical deck that beats both, and that's actually Flame Leviathan. Flame Leviathan beats the Hungry Crab deck, and it beats the Murloc Tidecaller deck.
Time.
What beats the Flame Leviathan deck? Basically any deck, other than exactly these two decks. Basically. That's some good random cards. I think I need the Demon Wrath here. Yeah. Better than two crabs there. And I think I'm winning after that. Could be kind of close, actually.
You're in trouble now.
Summon only draws one card a turn, and most of the time that's Dust Devil. And the Hungry Crab trades 1 for 1 against Dust Devil, so it looks like my win is eventually there.
Master wishes.
There's a chance that he draws something good. It would be hilarious if he drew Neptulon. Neptulon's actually good though, as just the 7 mana 7/7.
As the master wishes.
I can still win with like an AoE card. Or a Doomhammer maybe. He's not out of it yet. But I'm highly favored. Oh, Gall. Ah, I knew that card was in my deck, right?
As the master wishes.
It was in my opening mulligan.
What he said.
So I just gotta not tap to not lose to deal 5 damage spell.
Infinite night.
As the master wishes.
I managed to beat a non-Murloc deck with a Hungry Crab deck. That counts as a super win. I need to crush more people with this deck.
The light shall bring victory.
Your soul shall be mine.
I think I actually am supposed to mulligan the crabs in any non-obvious Murloc matchup. Or even against Murlocs, because if I'm up against Murlocs, well, I could actually win with this hand. I could win. It's also possible that even though Warlock is the best class for Tidecaller,
Quite what was planned.
that people will try to play the Tidecaller in other decks in order to complete their class quests. Okay, so he didn't Mind Blast me, which means he's not playing the Mind Blast deck, which I would have lost to. So it's possible he's playing a Light of the Naru deck. If he is playing a Light of the Naru deck, I have to be very careful. I think I just deal 1 damage here. This is my theory about why Light of the Naru isn't that good. You can possibly play around it. Playing a Shifting Shade deck, I guess. I might win with Lord Jaraxxus. Very possible. I mean, Shifting Shade deck is incredibly bad. It's also possible he's still playing a Light of the Naru deck. I'm gonna deal just 4 damage to him. That means that if he's playing... No, I can deal 1 more damage. Because he only spawns the light guys if he's if he heals and they're still damaged. It is a Light of the Naru deck, so I think he's gonna heal himself and then heal me, and then heal himself.
In the light's name.
Well, let's play. No Light Warden. This is gonna be a tough one. I put myself to exactly the amount where you can only get 1 Light Warden. All I have to do is hold out until Jaraxxus, I think, without doing any damage for a long time.
Afraid of the dark?
So if I take 5, I go down to 19, he can heal me with, this is really bad for me. He'll just Light of the Naru me a few times and then he'll win. I can take out the biggest Light of the Narus of some crabs. Maybe that's enough to wait until Jaraxxus. Maybe he doesn't know that he should Light of the Naru me. Oh, he's doing it. Bummer.
In the light's name. In the light's name. In the light's name. In the light's name.
If it weren't for the random cards of Shifting Shade and well, that's what the random cards are for, really. I think I played that as well as I could have. It's actually not over yet, I think. If I had gotten... Lord Jaraxxus is kind of good card for me. It allowed me to win this matchup. Him getting any random cards allowed him to win the matchup because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to cast Light of the Naru at all. It's possible it's not over. Light of the Narus are currently not very good. I can kill one of those. It looks like I'm going to be able to play Lord Jaraxxus. And then I can play Doom after Lord Jaraxxus. This might work.
In the light's name.
He actually needs to kill one of the hungry crabs and then trade, but he didn't do it. Now he's gonna play more out of the Naru as it appears. Oh! Chansu!
You face Jaraxxus, Eldar Lord of the Burning Legion!
Chansu! And he can't get any light of the. He can't get any light wardens out because I'm at 15 max hit points.
Wow.
Oblivion! Inferno!
So my plan is to just fill the board with Infernos. All I need to do is get 5 Infernos out, and then I hit them for 30 at once. Like I was alluding to way earlier, Light of Naru has some serious counterplay to it.
The spirits be rested. Inferno!
Damn clock. 24. So I think I'll set up lethal next turn. I'll play 1 Inferno and 1 Crab. And that's 27, it's 30 damage showing on the board. It's time for some one-turn kill.
The light shall burn you.
Unbelievable!
Wow! Alright, starting over.
Hand is too full.
I have the Hellfire, which is pretty good when he spams the Light Wardens. His play should be 7 Light Wardens and then healing or something like that. Eventually it'll be that, and then I'll have the Hellfire. I was thinking I would use the Doom for it, but... Actually, if I didn't draw that Hellfire, I could have won by going 7 Light Wardens, and then my only solution is Doom, and then I overdraw on Fatigue. This game had some twists and turns.
Thank you!
Oh, that's right, he can't play Light Wardens. I almost forgot. That was the entire point. Okay with burning cards. Actually, I should have played 3 Hungry Crabs to set up lethal. Actually, I have lethal with the Hellfire, so I'm fine.
Not all who wander are lost. Unbelievable! Too many cards!
I'm so good, I can win with only Hungry Crabs.
Well played.
You face Jaraxxus, Eldar Lord of the Burning Legion!
Yes, he's Warlock. Has a very high chance that he's Tidecaller.
Your soul shall be mine!
I think I keep the Silverware Golem in case he isn't Tidecaller. And I also think in order to trap him, I should be not playing turn 1 Hungry Crab. Well, of course I don't play turn 1 Hungry Crab. But I think if he, well, better to kind of go turn 1. Because he'll go turn 1 Tidecaller, Coin Tidecaller, and then I'll just go Crab Crab. And then it's over. If it's the mirror, I have the 3 mana 3/3, which beats out Hungry Crab. Come on. Tidecaller, Coin Tidecaller.
I greet you.
Oh.
Powering up.
Oh, it's Mech Warper. I lose.
Well played.
Powering
Well, I
up.
could get Hellfire.
Portals online. Powering up. Portals online. Powering up. Portals
might not have played all his mech warpers to play around AoE. Or maybe he has 2 cards that aren't mech warper in his hand.
Up. Portals online.
Not over yet, that's the lovely part about the random class cards. And to blow his mind. Why would you play such a bad deck? Mech Warper is the exact same deck as Tidecaller, except it doesn't lose to Hungry Crab. Which I guess means that he's playing a tier 3 deck, because I'm playing a tier 2 deck. I'm a deck that beats the tier 1 deck. He's probably just ignorant that he can't beat the tier 1 deck with his tier 3 deck, and he inadvertently countered me. And that's how I lost the game.
Well played. You win this time.
I can't deal with incompetence like this.
Your soul shall be mine.
Alright, here we go.
I am your nightmare.
I think the Soulfire deck beats my deck, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't think it beats me 100% of the time. Like that card could... Oh, there we go! I'm dealing 4 damage a turn. He's taking 2 this turn and dealing only 4 damage to me. I shouldn't tap because right now I'm not in a multiple of 4. But tapping will put me at a multiple of 4. It doesn't increase my damage that much. There's a chance. He could tap and not get Soulfire and then not draw Soulfire. He could, his next 2 draws, not be Soulfire. And then I would actually win. It's not very likely, but it's possible. And lethal next turn. I didn't have a 100% chance to lose. Come on.
You win this time.
I think he might have missed. Or maybe he just felt bad for me. I don't know. One of the 2.
Let the hunt begin. Your soul shall be mine.
This is actually fine. All you need is 1 Hungry Crab. Oh, it's the deck that's worse than I think I'll bait him, right? I'll just pass here. The worst he can do is play 2 of those things. And I play 3 Hungry Crabs. Never lucky. Oh well.
Well played.
Well fought.
It's true, he should be running Timberwolf instead. You know, this deck actually beats Timberwolf because I have 1/2s and he has 1/1s. So the way it works is it's very similar to the Tidecaller versus Timberwolf or matchup. So we managed to meme 2 Murloc decks, and that's pretty good. But now I want to choose this one. It also wins, but it's even more hilarious. I think this deck loses a lot more because having 1/2s actually wins games.
Jaina.
Okay, he's a Warlock, this is a good sign.
Your soul shall be mine.
You asked for it.
Now the best case scenario is if I draw my first card and it isn't Flame Leviathan, because then he doesn't know. I mean, most of the time I'll draw Flame Leviathan though.
Countermeasures enabled.
Alright. Does he concede?
Countermeasures enabled.
You have the inevitability of Fire Blast. And I think I'll play the 7 mana 7/7. Renounce Darkness. Might still win.
You're not that sharp.
Ooh, missed.
I'm gonna stop for that.
Come close and listen.
Alright, countermeasures enabled. Got him.
Countermeasures enabled.
Watch out, it's almost turn 7.
What lurks in the depths?
Countermeasures enabled.
Ooh, this is promising. But I have to hit him with 2 Flame Leviathans to win usually, because Flame Leviathan draws will usually deal about 4 damage.
Countermeasures enabled. Hostile entity detected.
From the depths I come.
Alright, that Frost Nova is pretty good here. So Frost Nova and the 2 Flame Leviathans. Oh, actually. Oh, it's not actually that good. How did he get his... Oh, right, it costs 8, and then he coined it out. So if he kills my Flame Leviathan, he gets a... I think I need to Frost Nova, and the next turn play Flame Leviathan and Flame Cannon. If I play Flame Leviathan, it just attacks Flame Leviathan. But that might be fun.
Hostile entity detected.
Enter the shadows.
Okay, this is actually fun, I think.
You want to buy
Oh no, it's not actually fun. I'll lose to my own Flame Leviathan.
Countermeasures enabled. Feed the fish, landlubber. Countermeasures enabled.
Darn.
Well played. You asked for it. Oh, it is on.
This deck will lose to pretty much any deck that doesn't play 2 health or under minions. I think it also loses to Babbling Book.
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell. Countermeasures enabled. You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell. You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell. Countermeasures enabled.
I do have the coin, which means I can coin out a Flame Leviathan. This matchup isn't decided yet. I also have a 3 mana 3/4.
Countermeasures enabled.
Wanted.
dead or alive.
You wanna cast a spell? I want to cast a spell. You wanna cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
It's fine, I'd rather that get counterspelled than the coin. The coin is essential to get like a... The coin is basically worth a 7/7. As on turn 6 I wouldn't be able to play it otherwise. Huh.
You wanna cast a spell? I want to cast a spell. You wanna cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
I think I'd test for Mirror Entity with Medea's Valet.
Countermeasure.
It's so likely that he would have played Mirror Entity on this turn. Nah, I don't.
Hostile entity detected.
It'd definitely be vaporized too. He's got a lot of random spells, some of which are bound to be able to handle Flame Leviathan. Maybe even that handles Flame Leviathan. Just killing my Flame Leviathan, which indicates that it might not be... Oh, that's cool. No Flame Leviathan? Oh, doesn't want to risk it.
Powering down.
Countermeasures enabled. Whoa.
Hostile entity detected.
The shadows beckon.
I was saving the Firelands portal in order to deal with a minion that he might summon.
Countermeasure enabled.
Just a pinch of liquor.
The nice thing is I can actually test for Vaporize with a 2-drop.
You wanna cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
I want to play Medea's Valet, since Medea's Valet actually survives Flame Leviathan. Although he'll just... Oh no, I'll probably... Yeah, that'll be fun.
Countermeasure enabled.
Oh, but he could just Fire Blast it. Maybe he'll forget.
Hostile entity detected.
Maybe I won't draw Flame Leviathan.
You wanna cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
If I wanted to go for a win record, I would definitely just play Tidecaller, but there's something to be said about the glory of countering the Tidecaller deck.
Countermeasure enabled.
Let's make magic.
That's for Mirror
Hostile entity
stuff.
detected.
Let's make magic.
This is gonna be a close game, I think.
Countermeasure enabled. Hostile entity detected.
He's probably far more favored to win at this point, though.
I want to cast a spell. Countermeasure enabled. Hostile entity detected.
I could draw Pyroblast. Maybe he doesn't have 7 damage. Maybe he does have 7 damage and I don't draw Flame
I
Leviathan.
want to cast a spell.
It's tough to beat the ice block, though.
Acquired target. Powering now. Acquired target.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
Hostile acquired a next target. You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
Well played. Well played.
Well, that was a good run, I guess. Oh, the slag.
Countermeasures enabled.
Well played.
Alright, I just need one game against Murlocs, then I'll be happy with this deck.
Victory or death!
You asked
Definitely a
for
lot
it.
of warrior decks I'll lose to. Maybe upgrade? Why would you bring a warrior here?
Countermeasures enabled.
Maybe he's playing a Murloc warrior deck. Possible. Would be nice.
Countermeasures enabled. Countermeasures enabled.
It's not the Ogre Warmaul deck, I'm pretty sure.
Countermeasures enabled.
Wouldn't make sense for it to be upgrade either, otherwise he would have upgraded the Ogre Warmaul, I imagine.
Job's done.
I wonder what happens if I draw it but don't have enough space in my hand. I think you still deal 2 damage to everything and then it goes into the... and then it dies. But this is kind of science.
Battle detected.
My hand is too full.
Oh, it doesn't deal the damage! Wow! That was science. That's good trivia for you guys. If you have a 10 card hand, you draw Flame Leviathan. Apparently, it doesn't deal 2 damage to everything. Did you know? Probably didn't know.
The blade be thirsty.
Ready to flee.
I'm guessing his card of choice is Ravaging Ghoul. Wow, I didn't draw. Oh, I got Blizzard at least.
Job's done.
Leviathan. What? What? Okay, we're fine then. Yeah, this one first.
Let's make magic.
Wait, actually, I misplayed. I should have saved this card for a Polymorph Boar. No, I'm okay. Actually, I'm not sure. Oh. Come on, not play. Oh, see, is that good? That's good. Wow, I didn't draw 3 Flame Leviathans in a row. That's so gross. Okay. His deck goes Ravaging Ghoul. I believe Ravaging Ghoul loses to Murloc still.
Victory or death!
You asked for it.
I'm not sure why I'm keeping Polymorph Boar, but it's probably better than Flame Leviathan. That was the same opponent?
Countermeasures enabled.
Alright, rematch. I feel like he played the Ravaging Ghoul matchup wrong. Well, no, because I can always just Fire Blast his Ravaging Ghoul. On turn 6, he probably... No! Because Ravaging Ghoul damages itself. But basically, my deck, I think, counters the Ravaging Ghoul deck. Because on turn 7, I can play the 7/7. And he just has Ravaging Ghouls. I think by default I win, but yes, of course there's random cards. But I don't win 100% of the time. Do I want to throw in 4 extra damage? I think I do, yep. Pretty hard to play that boar otherwise. And then I hope I don't draw Flame Leviathan. Wow. You brave huffer.
I will fight with honor.
You asked for it.
This could be good. Most of the paladin decks I can think of would play small guys, right? How else would you be competitive?
Nothing scares me.
Oh, the Selfless Hero deck. That's not going to be very good against Flame Leviathan.
Nothing scares me.
Does he think the Flame Leviathan is a random card? Oh, crap. Wow. All the better when he plays 3 Selfless Heroes. He thinks it can't possibly leave Flame Leviathan. This is just a fluke. I mean, it doesn't really matter. He has to play it this way, I think.
Reporting for duty.
Nothing scares me. Except mice.
One, 2. Well, pretty lucky for him.
Reporting for duty.
Nothing scares me.
Alright, here we go.
Except mice.
Flame Leviathan value.
Nothing scares me. Except mice.
Not on my watch.
Ah, sweet justice. Fun fact, Flame Leviathan Control Mage is one of the first decks I tried to make after Goblin vs. Gnomes.
The light shall bring victory.
You asked for it.
I'm hoping for Light of the Naru Priest because Flame Leviathan kills all of the Light Wardens. If it's Mind Blast, I auto lose, of course.
Greetings. Wow.
Okay, that could be the random Mind Blast. Can't concede yet. Maybe it's Light of the Naru.
Countermeasures in
Wow.
Okay.
You win this.
Give me...
Jaina versus Gul'dan.
Okay, I'm feeling it.
Your soul shall be mine.
You asked for it.
Here we go. The moment I've wanted to wait for this entire time, bringing despair to Tidecaller. Nice thing is I'm going second, so he'll have to play like his Tidecaller first and then despair, right? Okay. Come on. Oh.
Countermeasures in
What other deck could he be playing? Slowly Renounce. Can still win. Because Renounce deck isn't that good.
Countermeasures in
Can't remember if my last game against Renounce was Flame of Leviathan or Hungry Crab. But I remember it as a close one.
Countermeasures in
Leaving time. The seas belong to
Yeah, I was thinking he was gonna play that on turn 6, but right, discount.
Countermeasures in
It's pretty unlucky. I wanted 2 hits on that so that I could draw a Flame of Leviathan. But now I'm gonna have a tough choice of playing a Flame of Leviathan or Fire Blasting it. I guess ideally I draw something that is not Flame of Leviathan. No. Yes. I think I need to coin Flame of Leviathan for the tempo. Oh my.
hostile entity detected.
What's happening?
Well played.
Well played.
I can wait no longer.
Wow. Incredible.
Jaina versus Gul'dan.
Alright, let this be the Tidecaller.
Soul shall be mine.
You asked for it.
All I wanted to do was to inflict some despair.
Countermeasures in
Is it time for despair? He's like trying to play his Tidecaller. I can feel it.
Hello.
I'm feeling despair.
Countermeasures in
I will enjoy watching you die.
Surely it's not a Felguard deck. Look at the synergy. Goblin Blast Mage plus Flame Leviathan. I still remain convinced that this is one of those decks that I would counter.
Countermeasures.
He just happens to not have drawn any of the cards yet. Or I mean, he has drawn several of the cards, but he can't play them. Or he's playing around Flame of Leviathan. That's my guess. My guess is still that this is a Murloc Tidecaller deck. Ah yes. I can't embarrass myself by losing to this deck.
Countermeasures enabled. Feeling chilly.
Feels good. It is true that I have to hit the Flame Leviathan, but the chances are really good.
Amazing.
Ah, sweet justice. Yes! Well, he played it as well as he could have. Good for him. Dream complete. Well, as you can tell from the number of wins I have, I think this brawl is fascinating, and I encourage you all to stop the Murloc Tidecaller threat by putting in Flame Leviathans and Hungry Crabs. I think it's a clear tier 1, tier 2 situation.